So now, before we get any further, I'd like to play something. All right? So I want to play the beginning of a Sibelius impromptu. It's Opus 5, number 5. This is tuned to Equal Temperament. By the way, I did bring some books, so if anybody has like requests or something, I can't promise I can play it all. That is Equal Temperament. No surprise there. I chose that one to start out with because I'm kind of obsessed with the piece right now. So that's probably the main reason. But it's also an interesting key because B minor in a love temperament is not what we'll call that. And F sharp, which is the other one I played along there, is kind of spicy. Was that offensive to anybody? Okay, but now, oftentimes I get, but what about this song? So I want to clear the air. Are there any pieces that you really, really like that you're afraid would sound bad in this? Just like, all right, any other pieces? One of the big ones out here is Claire de Lune, because that's a key with my Claire. Okay? So let's go ahead.
I want to go back to the so would you be saying that in general this is favoring some keys more than the D flat is not the favorite key for this particular tuning? Or
Well,
are you not
what I'm saying is that each of them give you vastly different qualities, and you can learn to exploit those different qualities. So I love playing the keys with minor thirds. Absolutely love it. So clear. All right, but even if we do. It's beating.
What key was that?
That's D flat. Okay? There's A flat. It's about 12 beats per second. So this should sound terrible. Okay? 12. You put the octave below it. Or about 6. That's a human vibrato. Any other pieces that worry you? Because we're looking at the worst ones right now. Yes?
To put him on the spot, Steve, would you play something kind of open chord and more in a jazz mode and see what?
Sure.
More open chord, yeah.
I wanted just to check out some chords.
What do you think?
Thank you.
So I'm not trying to convince you all to like this or start tuning on equal. I know it's a losing battle to do that in a room full of technicians who have been doing this for a long time. Now, this is getting to the beat synchrony thing. And let me just actually demonstrate. We've got beat rates and we're used to listening to thirds. But listen to the chord. The beat here is not in line with the beat here. And so both beats together actually create another layer of beating. When we have pure fifths, we start getting simple ratios in between the chord. It's cleaner sounding. Now, a minor fifth is really interesting because, think about your minor or your perfect, your fifth test. Let's see. Anyway, this is going to be a different beat rate. So when I play a minor chord, I have phasing. The minor third is beating faster than the major third. Here, they're the same. So even though we have a fast beating, it also is still. And you cannot get. So in equal temperament, assuming it's pure octave equal temperament, you have 12 intervals that are actually in tune, your octaves. In Kernberger 3, you have 12 octaves, 7/5 and 1/3. So now we've tuned a lot more of our unisons between intervals, and the whole piano can sound a lot more confident, especially in certain keys. Almost a choir sound.
What key was that in?
F major. And that was, if you look in the chart that I have, that was in the key of calm.
Could you play that on the equal temperament?
Sounds out of tune, doesn't it?
It sounds more in tune on that piano than over here.
It is.
I wonder if
It literally is.
some recordings are doing that.
Really?
I wondered when I heard singing that, why does that piano sound so pure and clean? You know, and I bet it's because
Maybe,
it's tuned,
maybe.
they tuned it.
So in this
Play
tune,
F sharp.
F to C. I'm sorry?
Can you play that in F sharp? Is that right?
Which kind of has its own charm. But Schumann wrote it in the key of F, which was the key of calm. F sharp was not a key that they would have tried to represent calm in. And you can't get that in equal temperament. So you may as well play any key or just write everything in C. Yes?
Well, it's still musical.
It's still musical. It's just different.
Yeah, even though we're being pushed out of our normal comfort zone, that piano still is a very musical instrument, and it sounds really good.
Same. It's clearer. Yeah. Quite a bit. And that's really cool because look at this list piece right here. I've taught this in equal temperament before. And this edition, the Calmus edition, look at all these pedal markings. That's just clearing the mud in equal temperament. Liszt's first pedal marking is here, and his original second pedal marking is right here. I'm going to pedal the way Liszt wanted me to. first started trying this out is, notice the crescendo here, and then the decrescendo. That was impossible to do on this piano without lifting the pedal. Listen to the decrescendo under the same pedal. Starting here. And again, that's D flat, that's the Pythagorean third key. Chopin, his pedal markings. He oftentimes has a setup with a couple measures, and then he just assumes that we're going to do that until he says otherwise. I played that whole chromatic section with the pedal. It only changed twice where it told me to. Notice over here, this is the same piece. We have a pedal marking right here, and then he says, sempre pedal. Means basically keep it down. So yes, now the pattern that he set up by this point is when the bass changes, you change the pedal. So I don't feel like he had to write it in there for us to do that. It sounds bad on both pianos if we don't change
I saw
it.
the sempre and thought it was for pedal, but it's for the
No, so if you follow his patterns, you'll yeah, but yeah, it'll start to sound a little wonky
that
there.
makes a huge difference on that.
You hear the difference, right?
I was like just clearing it constantly.
Yeah.
It gets so money.
There's also this very famous C sharp. C sharp minor one. Actually, I should play it. Read it. It's not during. It's a posthumous one. Curious, like, you hear the difference.
Yeah.
Who liked this sound better? Who liked this sound better?
There's been a few pieces that I'm partial to that.
Sure, and then there is a learning curve. At first, the wide thirds are kind of like, oh, I don't know.
I was too tied up to trying to see how you could fit 33 notes into 4 8 minutes.
By slowing down the left hand.
temperament.
All right. Now, this is the famous C minor nocturne, and notice this is in the fast part at the end, and we have this kind of build up and build up. We have this crescendo right here, and then notice he places. We don't know how loud that is, but it's louder. And then right on here, he puts it to pianissimo, and tells you to hold the pedal through all of that. The wide thirds on that one, that's why I kept going. There's a wide third. You should sit down. It's an A flat, B flat. It's dissonant. It's supposed to be. This is dramatic. For me, having those wild thirds when it's turbulent is awesome.
There's a question.
Yes.
I'm not challenging the tuning because I think it's fascinating. I mean, I
Sure.
get that whole thing, but the one thing I think we have to keep in mind in talking about pedaling is it's kind of, we're talking about modern pianos, and that's not what they were writing for. I mean, any of you, I don't know if you heard Malcolm Bilson's
Sure, yeah, I've seen it,
invention.
yeah.
And when you hear these on period pianos where you have quicker, less sustain, you know, different types of damping and all, the pedaling makes more sense than it does on modern pianos.
Absolutely, I absolutely
Yeah.
agree. My argument is not that I found Chopin's tuning.
Yeah.
My argument is that I can make Chopin's pedal markings work the way he intended, even on a modern piano. And to me, that's pretty compelling because you lose a lot with frequent pedal changes. You have that noise that builds up and it doesn't go away. And yet, especially in keys with wide thirds, because of that shut-off thing that we were talking about, we can actually restore a lot of the, for whatever reason, you know, what you were saying, where we can restore the original pedal markings and make it work. Which is a layer that you just can't do as an artist with equal temperament. There's also this idea of key color. So this is the Brahms Romance. I'm going to get the music for this. I'll get mine. So the Romance, key of F. What's this key supposed to be? Column. Interestingly, the next one in the set, this is Opus 118. The next one is an intermezzo in E flat minor. Now, if you look at the handout that I gave you, this was basically the key of not only death. In the first source that I gave you, if I'm going to paraphrase, but it's like if ghosts had voice, they would approximate this key. Brahms, and this is 1890s that this was written. First of all, what is he referencing there? Dies irae. What's the dies irae?
The mass.
Again, key with a Pythagorean third in this thing. It's, to my ear, cold. It's got a shiver, but it's also still. Both things that we might associate with death. I don't want a piece to sound tame when it's about death. I kind of want that turbulence. You get to the Warriors theme in the middle, and it's written in G flat. It's a little dissonant. Can't read it. It's giving me what I want as an artist. And a lot of other artists really, really like this stuff.
What was that piece again?
That is Brahms Opus 118, number 6. It's one of the intermezzi. I love Brahms. So here's another Brahms. This is, he wrote, Opus 117, he wrote as 3 lullabies to his sorrow, his words. And it starts out, and this is the only one with the description, and it has to do with some Scottish character, I can't remember the name, but she's having a baby, and, you know. The middle part is when she's left by the father, and we go to E flat minor. So. I've noticed as an artist, bringing out a melody in the middle of my hand is far easier in this tune. I'm playing these notes and the melodies here. Then
Delta. These speakers.
Yeah, that's considered the most horrifying key. Oh, of course, we could throw in the, I'll play it over here. Talking about death. telling you which one you have to like better. I'm just showing you. And playing most of these pieces in the worst keys. You can kind of do this on a lot of pianos, but I found it's a lot easier to do this. I'm going to play one of those Pythagorean thirds spread out, and tell me what you hear. How does it sound?
Hey,
How does it sound? So, I can use that as an artist. I put a vibrato in the second time. Wide thirds really, really help out with that. Now you can do that on equally tempered pianos. This one's a little bit bright. I tried it earlier, it didn't work as well, but found the effect is much, much worse. So, if you have any questions?